What's up, y'all? It's Mariah Elise, and I am back with another banger. Alright, so today, got a little story for you. I'm gonna tell you all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there to tell you how I became a victim of a scam just last year. This is the tea. This is a true story, and what inspired me was someone tried to recently scam me again. So I figured it's time for me to share this knowledge with the public to protect everyone from being scammed. Stop scammers 2K21. No more scams. Before we get into this scammiest of scams, go ahead and like this video. Comment what's up down below. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified for when I'm posting. We are on a streak for Vlogmas, 12 days of Vlogmas, and of course, subscribe for good vibes. In the holiday spirit, I'm gonna wrap some gifts while I tell you this story. Okay, so this is the most schemiest of all schemes. The most elaborate scam you have ever. Let me give you the backstory, some information to make this story a little more cohesive. I'm living in North Carolina, Raleigh to be specific, because the December before I had graduated early from the most illustrious university in the land, North Carolina Central University. Eagle Pride. Got a job in research, was working in a contract position, and it lasted for a year. But I knew that it was a contract position, so I wanted something more full-time. I started applying to jobs, interviewed, got a job in Maryland, and said, okay, North Carolina, it was nice, gotta go. I am looking for places to live because when I move back to Maryland, I want to live on my own still. Disclaimer, the cost to live in Maryland versus North Carolina is like threefold. I was spending a little over $1,000 for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. It was almost 800 square feet. And Maryland, $1,000 probably won't get you a studio for 600 square feet. Needless to say, I figured I would not be doing an apartment situation. So I got on apartments.com, I got on Trulia, I got on Zillow, I got on Craigslist because the people were subletting or rent a room or renting out their spaces, whatever the situation may be. I knew that was something that I could afford and live comfortably. I'm on Craigslist and find this amazing deal. I find a 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo, all utilities included, for $600. First red flag. This was before I knew how corrupt the world really was. So I'm like, oh, it's a condo. It's something you've already purchased. It's yours. You just pay condo fees. Condo fees are typically around the same price as rent. So why wouldn't it be that cheap? You know what I mean? I emailed the person. They reached back out, sent me pictures of the condo. It was so beautiful. Let me see if I still have these pictures, because I'm pretty sure I saved all this evidence in the event that I can go to the FBI one day and catch them. It was such a beautiful condo, like gorgeous. And I was like, oh yeah, this can be me. Where do I sign? The lady reaches out to me and she tells me this sob story about how it's her and her husband's condo, and her and her husband got in a car accident a couple years ago. He passed away, and now she's basically paraplegic, and that she had to move down to Texas to stay with her mom so her mom could take care of her. Who am I to question that? Red flag number 2. Typically, if they're selling you a sob story, it's a scam. That didn't tip me off because I didn't really care what her story was. I just wanted to rent the condo. So I was like, oh, that's so unfortunate, but can I get the condo? She scripts out a lease. She sends me a copy of the deed to the place. I'm like, oh, this has to be real. I searched the address. It is in fact a condominium home. So I'm like, okay, the place is real. The deed looks legit. Cool. I don't think to do any further investigating. Her and I have conversations on the phone. She sounded like she may have been physically disabled or had a speech impediment because of her accident, but I wasn't thinking much of it. Fast forward a few weeks later, it's around Christmas time. I'm moving back home so I can start my job in January. The week of Christmas, I didn't hear from her. The week after Christmas, didn't hear from her. Emailed her a couple times, gave her a ring, wasn't getting any feedback. So I was like, dang, someone must have rented it within the month. I'm like, dang. But I keep emailing her, and I think by the 3rd week of January, after I started my new job, she emails me back. Hey, you know, the holidays just got busy. The condo's still up for rent. Do you still want it? Of course I do. And I had gotten paid that freaking Friday. By this point, I'm ready to get the keys. I've driven by the place. I drove by the condominium place. It's real. I'm ready. Let's get into it. She's like, okay, it's going to be, the security deposit is 1 month's rent, which is $600. Then give me 1 month's rent. I'll mail you the keys and you're set. I said, okay. I stupidly, as soon as I got paid that morning, the money dropped at midnight, and by 6 a.m. I sent that money and I Zelled it to her through the bank. Zelled it straight from my account into hers. And when I sent it, the name popped up as, oh my God. I was like, that's not Tanya. I immediately call the number. Boom, the number you have dialed is no longer in service. I'm like, no way, what? I'm looking like Boo Boo the freaking fool. And I'm like, nah, that's can't be it. And you know, a couple minutes later, she texts me back like, hey, my driver confirmed he got the deposit. He's on the way to the mailbox to mail your keys. So I have like a shred of hope. By noon, no response, no text, no calls, numbers disconnected for real. Like, it's like the do every single time I call. It's a dub. And I'm sitting at work in my new big girl job, blown, can't focus, can't concentrate. And I just remember being on the phone on the way to work. Girl, what if it's a scam? And my friend's like, nah, that can't be it. I didn't even think of that. And I'm like, me either, but what if it is? She's like, nah. Y'all, it was a whole scam. Have y'all ever heard of a scam as elaborate as this one, that they made a deed? They made a whole deed. They forged a deed that I ended up calling the Department of Housing and verifying that it was a real deed. And yes, it was the correct deed. These were the correct owners, but these were imposters. Imposters impersonating these people to lease their property, to get my money. I think 1 o'clock hit, still didn't hear nothing, and I was hurt. I was in the office like, I couldn't do any lab work. I couldn't finish my my ELN. So I just went home. I was so blown. I went home, turned my phone off, didn't talk to nobody, and cried. Because y'all, that was $1,200. That was my first paycheck. It just went poof in the garbage. So I called the bank, I filed a report, and they were able to get me $360 back because they said I sent it willingly. So they couldn't really do anything about that. Y'all, it was a scam, and they're like, we can try to file a dispute, see what happens. And I got $360 back. That didn't count for the other $840. I just had to, you know, charge that to the game. Swallowed that hard pill and move on with my life. So that happened. Got back on my feet, got right back on Craigslist. No, I think I got on Trulia more. I was more on Trulia this time than Craigslist, because after that I was like, oh no, everything is a scam. Flag number 3, the original post did not have pictures with it, but because the owner had sent me pictures, I thought it was real. Don't ever look at posts on Craigslist that don't have pictures of the site already there without you having to request them or without someone sending them to you secondarily. I ended up finding another rent-a-room situation. I got to meet the person, viewed the house, everything was verified, and did that rent-a-room situation at a 2-bedroom townhouse for $790, all utilities included. I bounced back. It was cool. That lease ended, and then I got scammed again, but not in the same way. But I'm gonna leave that for another day. Glad y'all tuned in. I hope you got a little laugh out of this. I hope you learned some tips. I can talk about it now because it happened a while ago and I can laugh about it now, but the situation was not funny. But thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the story. Like, comment if you've ever been scammed, or if you're like, girl, you should have seen that coming a mile away. I know. And of course, subscribe for good vibes, because that's what we handed out over here. All right, I'll see y'all in the next one.